Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ralphthemoviemaker podcast. I'm here with my guest Cam, and we saw the film M3GAN. Megan.
You can call Megan. Megan's fine.
Megan. Yeah, it's Megan. I mean, they tried to be cool with like the three.
It's like a serial number. Yeah. I thought it was decent. I enjoyed it. You know, the previews didn't inspire a ton of confidence in me.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
But it turned out better than I expected. It was competent and watchable.
Yeah, exactly. There's not like a ton to say about it. We can be very like quaint or quick, concise with our thoughts.
Right.
I liked the movie. I thought it was more of a dark comedy than it was a horror film. I liked the cast mostly. I liked a lot of the actors. Allison Williams, who from Get Out, which is kind of in the vein of like Chucky, or like Child's Play is the name of the movie, but it's in the vein of like a killer doll like Chucky, the character. Right. Except it's more of like a sci-fi take, and it's a Blumhouse movie, and there's more going on. It's also about like this girl who lost her parents and is like kind of adopted by her the sister of the mom who died. She works for this like big tech company developing toys that's kind of like Hasbro or whatever, and they're trying to make this new like super advanced doll, which is like can communicate with the kid and draw all kinds of fancy pictures and dance and basically do anything. They kind of get into that. That's kind of what the movie's about, is like this childhood psychology, how they grow attached to their toys, or how they grow attached not just to their toys, to like their phones, and they're kind of losing touch with like people around them.
It's fun to see horror movies like this with a group. Just make sure the crowd isn't super obnoxious like Oz was. Like a guy was taking pictures of the screen while the movie was going on.
With the flash on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty obnoxious. That was egregious.
Yeah, very
It's an egregious
annoying
example of a bad theater experience, yeah. Because I was just talking about bad theater experiences a couple episodes ago, and yeah, that was a pretty memorably bad one.
Yeah.
But yeah. Good movie, I guess. Fine.
Yeah, like we were saying, it's the best movie of 2023 that I've seen so far.
Yeah, that came out in 2023.
Exactly, and also too, it would be interesting to see what other horror movies will be coming out, because last year was particularly strong. 2022 for horror movies.
Yeah. Barbarian.
And Nope and Bones and All and X and Pearl and
Prey.
Prey.
If you count that, it's more action horror.
I think it's a little horror, and Bodies, and Smile. So yeah, and a Scream 5 was decent. Yeah, so it's a pretty strong lineup from last year. And Men's kind of horror.
Yeah, Men was really good. I love Men.
To be honest, I've never really seen any of the Child's Play movies, so I don't know how this compares. No, I know of them. I just
they definitely
haven't
have. They're more, well, actually no, because this is a dark comedy too. They're both dark comedies. Like the Child's Play movies, they're horror movies, but they don't take themselves very seriously. There's parts that are very funny.
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
And you mentioned to me before the voice of Chucky he's a
Brad Dourif. Yeah.
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and the Lord of the Rings movies.
He's in the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. He's the sheriff.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
So he's a good actor, and like he's good as like Chucky. And this new, I don't know the actresses who play Megan. There's two of them. There's one who like does the body of Megan, which there's an actress playing Megan. The doll. People are like, oh, is it CGI? Is it a real doll? It's an actress mixed with like CGI and like prosthetics and whatever.
Like
and
animatronics.
Is another actress. Yeah, and then the main girl in it, the girl who loses her parents, is the sister of the girl from Black Phone.
Right. She's Violet McGraw. Her sister's Madeline, I believe.
Yeah, she's the girl in Black Phone who sees all the visions or whatever. I don't know. I give it like a 3-star
out of 5.
Right? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
as
like
opposed to like a
Letterboxd
3 out of
rating.
10. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'd give it.
3 stars out of 5 stars. Yeah. Would you give it 3 stars or?
Yes.
Ratings don't matter. It's not like
6 out of 10. It was solid, and not
Yeah.
necessarily something I would watch again. But again, if you're excited to see it, I'd say give it a shot.
For a Blumhouse movie, it was okay. For a Blumhouse horror film,
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I haven't even seen all the Blumhouse. I mean, they've definitely produced some great movies, like as we mentioned, Get Out, and I really liked Us, and not even just like horror movies. Like they also produced Whiplash, I believe, and Black Klansman, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, they produced those. Yeah, those are definitely the best stuff they've made, and Get Out, which is horror.
Right. I didn't see, like, I've never seen Truth or Dare, like some of the other ones, like.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. I think Happy Death Day I saw. I don't know if that's them. I think it is.
I think so. I've never seen that or its
Wasn't
sequel.
a big fan of that. But yeah, that's another one that was like a horror comedy.
Yeah, I think.
It's like not taking itself. Those are more tolerable than the ones that are like actually trying to scare you.
Right. Super
that
serious.
Are like dumb. That are like remakes. Like I enjoyed M3GAN so much more than I did Halloween Ends. I think I told you that.
I
as
did
we
too.
Were leaving the theater.
Yeah, Halloween
Definitely.
Ends was much more, self-serious and pretentious.
Yeah, it's an original idea. Yeah, it has like funny parts. Like it's not taking itself as seriously. M3GAN. It's it's obviously like Child's Play, but it's an original IP.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's inspired and it's fun at least.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of the. People familiar with The Simpsons, they have the Treehouse of Horror Halloween specials. There's one from season 4 where Homer buys an evil Krusty doll. So I'm sure it's a similar concept.
Beware, it carries a terrible curse.
Ooh, that's bad.
But it comes with a free Frogut.
That's good.
The Frogut is also cursed.
That's bad.
But you get your choice of topping.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm sure there must be other Simpsons geeks out there watching the video, so they probably already know the episode by heart. But yeah, it's worth checking out if you like M3GAN.
I'll show the clip. Yeah, I'll show the clip. Okay, so I have some questions for you.
Very good.
For us to share.
Us.
So this one's from Owen137. I recently just watched Nanook of the North, 1923, which I think you've seen in school.
Vaguely
right?
remember.
I think we watched in class.
Yeah.
Maybe. And you saw that you logged it on Letterboxd, meaning me. I logged it on Letterboxd. It's commonly cited as the first documentary, even though most of the movie has been fabricated. To what extent do you think a documentary needs to be truthful? Do they need to present the truth or just appear like they are doing so? So that's an interesting example. Yeah, Nanook of the North has some like fabricated parts or like fictional, like I guess reenactments or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still like pretty like truthful to like their lives. It's like capturing the essence of their lives, I think. I think that's like what most people would say about that movie. Which is why I like it, Obviously there's parts that are like I guess staged.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think that takes away from the movie. And I think that happens with a lot of documentaries. I don't think that takes away from the documentaries. Maybe it depends on the movie too.
Yeah, I mean, documentaries are interesting because, again, obviously, going by the standard definition, even if you feel like, Nanook of the North deviates from it, it's not telling a traditional narrative story, because, a traditional narrative movie is, introducing characters and following them. It's more like an omniscient point of view, whereas the documentary is comprised of usually, archival footage and interviews and, maybe even like reenactments. So it's interesting too, because, real people, they don't necessarily follow like the same, their lives don't necessarily follow the structure of a movie. What's interesting about something like, the OJ documentary, not the series, not what could be a good, but the one that Ezra Edelman directed,
the documentary one,
right?
Yeah,
which
not the Ryan Murphy,
right? Yeah, exactly. Which I'm sure is good too. But
yeah, it's good.
What's about the documentary Made in America specifically? It's it's interesting. Like it's not just tackling only his murder trial. It's also explaining why the history of the police brutality against African Americans and how often like the legal system favored policemen. It's important to like tell that part of the story too, parallel to OJ's rise to fame and fortune. How ultimately he was acquitted because of like the injustices of the legal system.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not just it's one thing. That could be like a problem with like docudramas too, like Bohemian Rhapsody. If you're just like telling like the beat, like the kind of like cradle to grave kind of story, or just like specific,
it's not interesting,
right? Yeah, I think it's important to have like an arc on what's going on. Kind of like with Goodfellas. It's not just about Henry Hill. It's about how he became enamored with the mob and had to leave even after everybody was ready to kill him. So I think that's important with a documentary too. Like it's not enough just to show like a bunch of footage. There should be like a point, point that can be made.
Amadeus is a good example I use all the time. That's a great movie, not because I love classical music or whatever, which I like classical music. It's because it's an interesting take on a story. It's not just Mozart's life from the cradle to the grave. It's about someone else's perspective on Mozart and his jealousy. And that's interesting. Mozart's not the main character. It's someone else's. It's about his arc. It's not about Mozart's arc. Even though Mozart is a character and he is an interesting character, he's just a part of it. It's about like, what is the story?
Yeah,
what's the story you want to tell?
Yeah, it's an angle.
A lot of these Bohemian Rhapsody, it's like, it's just like a plot. It's like plot points, it's like or beats of their life.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not really compelling.
Yeah, that's important in a docudrama, and like a documentary as well. Like it shouldn't just be like a bunch of interviews, and like I think if it's done really well, like there's a documentary I like how they call it like the Times of Harvey Milk. That's one. It's in the Criterion collection. It's like it tells a very specific story. Like why was this person important, and it could be very interesting. Yeah, and that's another thing too that like people really like about documentaries that makes them distinct from traditional narrative movies is you get like more like spontaneous reactions and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Something you're not necessarily I understand like documentaries have like directors and editors, but like you might like find an angle that you didn't plan at first, or like something that you learned in the process. It's kind of like constantly evolving, as opposed to like obviously you could make that point about regular movies too, like there's improv, but like you might have like a specific angle on a documentary, but like it may shift based on the way you're interviewing people or something you discover through archival footage and so forth.
Sure. A lot of documentaries are manipulative to like a certain extent.
Right. Yeah, they have like an angle and
they have a story or
a bias.
Sure.
But
perspective on it. Yeah.
But ideally, it should at least be an interesting bias as perspective, and if people want to come with their own conclusions, that that's that keeps things intriguing.
Yeah, exactly.
And just a quick side note, since Owen did mention Nanook of the North, the director, I think Robert Flaherty, he also did a documentary about Ireland called Man of Erin, which I've never seen, but like my extended family, some of them were in the movie, which I'm curious to watch now because it may follow some of the same.
Is that one of those? Is that one of those islands like Inisherin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're the three Aran Islands. My grandparents, my mother's parents are from Inishmaan, and the new movie Banshees of Inisherin that's set on one of the other Aran Islands. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting.
Awesome. Yeah. Good answer. So, not to cut you off. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Wrap it up. So this is from Mr. McDan. I remember seeing that you have a bit of a Criterion collection in one of your videos. So what would you say is your favorite movie in the collection that you own? Love your videos, by the way. So like favorite Criterion collection movies. I don't know if you own any of those.
I have one. I have a Criterion DVD of On the Waterfront, which I got for Christmas. It's a great, obviously one of the best movies, but period. Not just the collection.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's pretty cool. And I've rented Criterion, like Blu-rays from my local library, and HBO Max actually has a good lineup of movies from the collection.
Yeah, absolutely. Just in terms of the ones I own, like just the boxes, the Persona one's really nice, and the Do the Right Thing one are really nice. I have a Bruce Lee collection, which I haven't even opened. that one's cool, and I just got Wally.
Yeah. Great movie.
So that's a great movie. Yeah, I just got the Wally one for Christmas. So yeah, those are just some nice ones I got, I guess. Yeah. Okay, let's just do one more question.
Yeah.
This is from Laxaxel. Okay. Out of all the superhero movies you've reviewed, what is the worst one? That's a tough one.
Is there one that comes? Obviously we can name bad ones. Is there
of recent ones? Like we just watched Green Lantern when I came to visit you because we watched M3GAN.
Yeah.
And then we watched Green Lantern. That was fucking bad. Of the past 10 years, I think of Green Lantern. I think of X-Men Origins Wolverine. That was 2009.
I think they were both more than a decade ago at this point.
Yeah. 20 years.
Yeah, I'll say 20
past
years.
2000.
Yeah.
Past 2000, it's like Green Lantern, X-Men Origins Wolverine, both Ryan Reynolds. Blade Trinity, which is also Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
He's in like 3 of the worst ones ever.
He was 0 for 3 before Deadpool. Yeah, I've never seen Blade Trinity,
Deadpool's
but I'll
good.
take your word for it.
Zoom.
Oh,
Zoom. Count Zoom.
Yeah, you can count Zoom. That was a big bomb.
Yeah, that was a big bomb. That's when I learned as a kid what a bomb was.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't even think I paid attention to that stuff back then.
I'm like, what's a bomb? They're like, the movie didn't make money.
Or not enough money.
Yeah. I don't think it made any money.
Yeah, barely any.
I don't think anyone saw it.
Yeah.
I think you and I are the only ones who saw that.
And our dads who got dragged.
Yeah. Yeah. Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Suicide Squad.
The 2016 Suicide Squad. Yeah, those are
bad.
Terrible. Wonder Woman 1984. That's a bad
Yeah.
one.
That is a bad
think
one.
I'm not saying it's the worst, but it's pretty bad.
That's one of the worst ones of. I think that was 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the worst. Yeah, so it is this decade.
Yeah,
that's the worst of this decade.
A lot of not all of them, but a lot of the DCU ones are pretty bad, like the ones.
Yeah,
we
even
mentioned.
Black Adam. Black Adam is.
I don't know if I'd mention that as one of the worst. I mean,
Oh well, Morbius. That was just.
Yeah, Morbius is a much worse movie.
That Morbius is worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is worse.
Even like some of them, like I don't necessarily like. I wouldn't necessarily put it like as the worst, but like I know we said 20 years, but going back further, like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, those are some of my least favorites.
Oh yeah, well we watched those.
Yeah, those are not good.
Free spun every line. Arnold had a free spun.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, they're pretty notorious for being crappy.
Those were pretty bad.
And I haven't even seen I've never seen like Superman 4 or some of the other like notoriously bad ones like Howard the Duck or Steel, stuff like Spawn.
Yeah, those I've seen. Yeah, we just watched a little bit of Superman 3.
Oh,
the one with Richard Pryor.
Yeah, right. Which I've never seen the whole
just
thing.
Fucking slapstick. It just starts with a bunch of slapstick.
Yeah, it's there's one really bad one we haven't mentioned yet. Do you know what it is? Can you guess?
Is it recent?
Yeah, fairly recent.
Eternals.
Eternals is bad. I don't know if it's like the worst. I mean, it's definitely, in my opinion, it's the worst MCU movie.
What would you say?
Fantastic Four, the 2015 one.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible.
That might be bottom 5, at least for like last 20 years.
Yeah,
last 20 years. Yeah, bottom 3.
Yeah, that's worse than a lot of the ones I mentioned. Howard the Duck, if you want to count that, it's a comic book.
Green Hornet, that's one of my least favorites.
Green Hornet wasn't very good. Yeah, good director. Like a lot of these have.
Sure, Green Lantern. Even like
Green Lantern had the Casino Royale director.
Yeah, I mean Joel Schumacher. He did movies I liked, but Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are not among those.
Yeah, exactly. You can do these characters well. I'd like to see a Green Lantern movie one day. Yeah. Just sometimes it doesn't come together. Like sometimes it takes time.
Yeah.
It's not because of the character sometimes. Like people say like, "Oh, the Green Lantern character sucks." It's like, well, people probably said that when they saw Batman and Robin. Like, "Oh, Batman's terrible. You can't do anything with this character." But then you see the Nolan ones and you're like, "Oh, wow. You could do something cool with Green Lantern. They just haven't done it.
Yeah, they probably. It doesn't help
yeah.
that the suit is fucking butt ugly in the movie. Looks
Yeah,
like
it's all CG. Terribly distracting. They could have at least made his mask practical. Yeah.
What are some other bad? Some of the other lesser X-Men movies. Like I haven't even seen them all, but like the New Mutants.
Yeah.
That's a really bad one.
Well, Wolverine Origins is a really egregious one because it ruins Wolverine's backstory. I'd love to cover that one one day.
Yeah, and then we went from that to Logan eventually, which is far superior.
Yeah, much better.
One of the best superhero movies on the other end of the spectrum.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to think if there are any. Yeah, X-Men 3 is pretty bad.
We mentioned a lot of the really egregious ones. Yeah.
The
Roger Corman, Fantastic Four.
I haven't even
mentioned
seen
Steel.
that.
Yeah, like the original Captain America, the one where he like steals the dude's car on like the road. I don't know if you've seen that scene. It's like really funny.
Yeah.
He just steals someone's car.
Yeah, he's just
a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the first, the Tim Story, those two Fantastic Four movies. I'm not that crazy about.
Yeah, I can't say they're the worst I've seen.
They're not the worst, but they're bad in my opinion.
They're not as bad as the Josh Trank one.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for coming on, Cam, again. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I love that picture.
There's a cow.
Okay. Like Barnyard.
Yeah.
The Nickelodeon movie.
Never
Barnyard.
seen that. Is that one of the worst superhero movies?
Yeah. Now tune in next time for a discussion of Barnyard.
See you at the movies.